The Gospel of the Lord. Well, these days, if you turn on the news or open a newspaper or click on any news source online the past 3-4 months or so, you've seen maybe some of the ugliest times in our nation's history. People have been out in our streets doing incredibly violent things in the name of justice. Cars have been torched, property has been destroyed, businesses looted and burned, and police officers and other people have been intimidated, assaulted, and even murdered. All in the name of justice, oftentimes rallying cry being no justice, no peace. Well, this past week, just a couple days ago, or I think yesterday, marked the 19th anniversary of 9/11, when Islamic terrorists hijacked passenger airplanes and flew them into the World Trade Center in New York City. Between the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, Flight 93, 2,977 people were murdered, over 25,000 people were injured, and since that time, many people have had health problems that they have come about because they were at Ground Zero and all the dust and everything. This was the deadliest terror attack, not in just American history, but in the entire history of the world. And the people who flew those planes and killed these people had one thing in mind: the destruction of the United States of America. They wanted to bring us to our knees, and eventually, slowly but surely, they wanted to destroy us. But we, instead, on September 12th, were remarkably resolute and courageous, and as a nation, we hunted down these thugs and we brought justice to them. The terrorist group al-qaeda with their leader, Osama bin Laden. We took a punch on the nose, collected ourselves, and we came back swinging. And what we set out to do, thanks to our brave men and women in the military, many of them have made the ultimate sacrifice. We have come out on top. I was in high school on 9/11. I was a sophomore, and it was algebra class, and the teacher came in, put the news on, and we were just shocked and horrified at what we were seeing. But I remember those days, the day after, everybody in the entire nation was so very proud to be an American. And not only that, we learned, after we had learned what the police and the fire departments had done in New York City, the government, the media, citizens as a whole, we could not have been more proud and grateful to these men and women who ran to these towers when everybody was running away and gave up their lives trying to save whoever was in there. They were our heroes. People all over the country were wearing T-shirts, they had bumper stickers, hats, whatever, NYPD, FDNY, all in support of appreciation and support of these people. And then as a result of that, police and firemen everywhere in our nation were given support, appreciation, and immense respect. But in the 19 years that have taken place since then and now, turn on the news, open the newspaper, click on a news source online, and even maybe listening to some of our political leaders, we get a sense that this group, particularly the police, they have become the villains. But I do not think, however, that the majority of America is taking this bait. But as the anniversary of September 11th approached this year, the difference between the 9/12 of 2001 and the 9/12 of 2020 and what has been fed to us has really been disturbing to me. I would wager my last dollar on the point that if police have changed at all since 9/11, 2001, it has definitely been for the better. Now, are there bad police? Yes. Will there always be bad police? Yes. It's not an excuse or permission for the evil that one might do, but it's a recognition of the human condition. We are sinners. There will always be not only bad police, there will always be bad priests, there will always be bad teachers, bad parents, bad politicians, there will always be bad people until Jesus comes back. And if anything, I would say that the police are even better than they were 19 years ago when we proclaimed them widely as our heroes. And back then, in 2001, al-qaeda, they came with the goal to destroy America, little by little, with acts of terror. Not all at one time. We weren't sending a great army. But in 2020, many of our own people are now out there in the streets wanting to remake America into something else by destroying what it is today, little by little. There's no great army, but it's riot by riot, really. Al-Qaeda was an Islamic terrorist organization that hated Christianity and what it stood for. America, being founded largely upon the values of Christianity, was therefore the big dog in the yard that al-Qaeda wanted to take down. Today, in this day and age, it is groups from within our own borders, our own citizens, have now put America in their crosshairs on a scale that we may have never seen before. Maybe not since the Civil War. I mean, Abraham Lincoln used to say that America will never be conquered from without. He said, please God, it will not. It will come from within. 19 years ago, it was religious terrorists who were waging war on us. They wanted to kill us or convert us. Now the terrorists attacking us have the end game of a society with no law, no structure, no government, even no family structure. Everyone will be free to do whatever they want, and no one will have the right to tell them no or enforce any sort of law and organization. To put a name upon this thought process, it is the perfect communist state as proposed by Karl Marx. He said that a revolution is needed to bring about socialism, which will eventually work itself out into perfect communism. What we see right now seems to be the sparks of, at least the attempt, of a revolution taking place. The goal being to implement communism, a stateless, classless society. And the names of these people, they're groups. You've probably seen their names. Antifa, which is an anarchist terrorist organization, being an extreme left-wing group against capitalism, law enforcement, and any sort of government hierarchy or organization. The other group is the official group of Black Lives Matter. So hear me out. If you visit blacklivesmatter.com and go to the page where they outline what they stand for and their beliefs, there are some pretty disturbing things. First, there are good things like we work vigorously for freedom and justice for black people and by extension, all people. Well, that's very good. It's great. However, the organization also says this: we foster a queer-affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking. As Catholics, we do not view the practice of homosexuality as healthy for human beings. In fact, it is sinful. And because God did not design us to behave homosexually. That is serious because humanity is built on the foundation of heterosexual love between a man and a woman given to each other in marriage to bring about a family. A family is the foundation of the world, the foundation of human living. So it naturally goes that Black Lives Matter is also working against the traditional family structure, and that's not just a conclusion or an opinion. They explicitly state this as one of their goals. Further on down this page I was looking at, it says, we disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families, and it says in quotations, villages, that collectively care for one another. Let me say that first line again. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family. And what is behind these terms of extended families and villages caring for one another? Well, it's this idea of this stateless, classless society of communism. Al-Qaeda's goal was to come to the United States and kill Americans. Really just wanted to wipe America off the map, and they would have done it if they could. But today, those who we see wanting to bring down America are Americans, and they want to do it under the facade of justice, freedom, and love. But it is all a big bunch of baloney. It's anti-Christian, it's anti-family, it's evil. Communism will never give us what we want and what we need. You never hear people running away from capitalist, democratic nations like the United States of America to communist nations like North Korea, Cuba, or China, or 30, 40 years ago like the Soviet Union. But you do hear about people literally dying to escape from these places, to come to the United States of America. So this week, I would invite you, especially as we come to the elections this November, coming up quickly, I would invite you to pray to God every day that America would be purified first of her sins, because as a nation, it's as great as it is, it's definitely not perfect. And also, pray that our nation will be blessed with peace and protected. So God bless America. We give ourselves to the Lord. We ask him to direct our individual hearts and the heart of our nation as a whole.